Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 37 of What If Naruto Got His Memories Sealed Away. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay in tune for What If Naruto was given a second chance over on Anime King that I'm going to be posting later on. And you guys can also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto had the Red Rinnegan and was neglected, and enjoyed that, guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, the hidden sand was being attacked, as Neji, with his eyes, was able to see something pass the perimeter and went straight into the village. He traced it down as it was a chameleon. To his shock, it was the body of Donzo. Yes, you've seen this man before. Now they knew what happened to the elder and his two comrades, as Donzo was a new summoning path of pain. Neji tried to battle off against them until it went through hand sign and summoned the other pains here, right in the midst of the village that was already destroyed. They already had the information on pain. Meanwhile that was going on, the hidden sand village, as Kakashi was also out there, along with Guy, as they was facing off against the burnt force of the rain ninjas. Konan was in the air, as she was watching all the chaos and war go on down below her. Many of her sound ninjas were dying. As it seems, just because the Sand Ninjas were on low morale, they were still fighting, and the Konoha Ninjas were helping a lot in that, as Aoi was cut down by Kakashi and dropped his right blade. Kakashi had to jump away before taking out the blade, as Tenten was the one that found it. Meanwhile, Neji was saved. Yes, he was saved by Gaara, as Gaara told him to go. As Gaara faced off against the sixth path of pain, Gaara was so furious as he looked at the one that destroyed his village. He started to clash with them. He had the entire sand at his advantage, as Gaara, realizing that they were a well-oiled machine together, it was difficult, so he had to separate them, but the summoning pain just ended up summoning them back right in the midst of the village. So Gaara grabbed the summoning pain as well, as he threw three of them straight towards the far edge of the village, so he can take on the rest of the pains. But Tendo and the others decided to retreat, as they all poofed away. The Sand Ninjas cheer in victory as they managed to fight off the invaders even though they were weak, as Konan and Nagato left. Meanwhile, Naruto and Yujito had finally made it to the base camp, as they were there waiting for the next morning so they could pass through the route, as the both of them were in the tent, until suddenly Naruto clones outside caught eyes of something as they made their way taking on the Konoha Ninjas that were attacking them. When they defeat them, their body turned into a white substance. It was the white Zetsus. As Naruto cursed, more was coming as they realized their army, their ranks, had been infiltrated by these white things. They couldn't even sense them. How the hell was the transformation so good? As Naruto and Yujito realized that they must took some of the original chakra and bend it to their will somehow. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's what we left off. You guys can switch across the village to check it out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. It was at the border, right where the garrison was, where all of the ninjas were, as they saw a man and a woman dragging someone into the camp. This was not unusual because they were right in the center where they would go out and sometimes return back with captives. But this was different. The two that were coming were the female and male Jinchuriki, Konoha and Kumo respectively, as they were dragging a plant-like creature, seemed to be mixed with a human form, but looked like a plant as well. covered in blood that didn't look like his. Naruto dropped the hybrid creature as it was taken into custody. You went kind of nuts back there, Yuji-chan, Naruto said as they both walked through the camp. I said that we need to take one of them alive. I left one alive, she said, pointing to the plant man that was being carried off as she spoke. I had to stop you from killing him by putting my own body in the way. Apparently, the Nibe wasn't one to let prey get away when Yujito was angry, or when you mess with some situations that she liked, especially since she and Naruto were going at it last night before those creatures interrupted it. Naruto was put off by it as well, but he didn't went homicidal. I was angry at it too, but... Damn, said Naruto. She simply stuck her tongue out at him as she looked down. A total mess and we haven't even started working yet. I'm gonna find myself a barrack and get cleaned up. Go ahead. I'm going to try to find Eroseni and let him know that we're here. I'll catch up in a bit after I do, said Naruto. She took a travel pack for him since they were at the base, as she started to look for the temporary showers. As the both of them split up, as Naruto was still wondering where did those plant guys came from. How did they disguise themselves in the ranks like that? That was why he captured one, for the information to be pried out of him. Meanwhile, Jiraiya was currently standing, looking over into the deep, flushless forest with a telescope. He sensed Naruto behind him. How's the eye, he said, jabbing at Naruto. How's the arm, Naruto shot back. As Naruto smiled, it was good to see Jiraiya. For someone like him living out the rest of his days doing nothing just because he was missing an arm, it just didn't seem right. The man was supposed to be a lion, and he wasn't meant to live like a mouse. You look like crap, don't you sleep? A sarcastic laugh left Jiraiya as he put away his telescope. I can sleep all I want when I'm dead. You're late, brat, he said. I brought you a present though, said Naruto, as he walked up and stood next to Jiraiya. It was early in the morning, so the place was still a bit dark. How do you feel about hybrid monster plant guys? Indifferent, but that's because I've never seen one. Are you on drugs or something? No, I just asked because there's one in lockup right now that just tried to kill me and Yujito a few hours ago. So he did manage to get Yujito here with him. That damn mission to sneak her back in Kumo was a tough assignment, as you had to go through a large rat nest. Getting in the forest wasn't a problem though, but it was just something about the forest even when he sensed sensors with them. It couldn't be because they just knew the terrain, it must be something else. No, there was something even wrong going on there, and Jiraiya knew it, and he just couldn't find out what it was. And his godson was just about to try his luck at getting in. I really don't want to send you in there, Naruto, said Jiraiya. I've been arguing back and front with Tsunade, letting you do this mission when I found out that it was you. She should know full well what I'm reporting back to her on our situation. Well, tell me then, said Naruto. I want to know what I'm getting into, and I'm surprised that you haven't found a way through already. Don't rub it in, kid, Jiraiya said, as the both of them stood on the ground as he pulled out a map. Time skip. At the base of operations, Shimigakure, Hashigakure, and Yumigakure. These were the villages that were assigned the task of waging war against Konoha. Yumigakure was known for their vast knowledge of the woods, and they were in their terrain, so it was hard for enemy ninjas to come in here and try to do anything. Hashigakure, ninjas were enhanced. The radiation of the meteor that fell in their village has their chakra develop in strange ways for them, and they went through intense training, most of them getting killed by the over-radiating chakra that went through their system. But the ones who survived were very enhanced, and they were the ones that were sent out to fight the ninjas. And Shimigakure was the one that created tunnels. Tunnels were everywhere, so they could spy on the enemy ninjas as they came. So it was hard for Konoha ninjas or any other ninjas to make their way through the forest. They would instantly be cut down, as they were unaware of the tunnels. Right now, Naruto and Jiraiya were going through theories in their heads, trying to find out how they would get through there safely. And Jiraiya never had Naruto with him, who knew about the layout of the land. And also, after years of route training, he knew the very vital way to get through was pretty easy by using tunnels, a lot of them. That was a good idea, and Jiraiya will have to think more about it and try to create a plan because they will have to move out soon. But the three minor villages knew that soon enough Konoha and Kumo will push their way through. But, as if they were answered by some kind of god or a demon, a dealer came to them with an offer that they simply couldn't refuse. Shimigakure was the station place for the meeting right now. Another day, Konoha and Kumo were trying to storm through their lands, but they were currently having a meeting, as the leader of Shimogakure was to meet with the man that offered them the offer that they simply couldn't refuse. You're a very brave man, the leader of Shimogakure said. You come this close to my village during wartime, like you aren't really concerned of my village capturing you or any other, or trying to hold you to get you to create weapons for them. The strange man wore a full mask on his head that was light purple with white color and a ripple pattern, and he also had two eye holes, as he was wearing a strange dark combat robe with gloves, and he has a giant war fan strapped on his back. Oh, I am not too troubled or worried by being captured, trust me. Besides, I don't think that kidnapping the person that is supplying you would be too good. So there is no real time that I will be safer when I'm helping one of you, because it will be quite troublesome for the other villages. You had a point though. If one of them decided to capture him and try to get him to create weapons for them, the other villages would be pissed. Well, circuit the business then. The leader said, I want another 250 cent to the north, Toby-san. So many, said Toby. Alright, I hope you found the last platoon. Satisfying. Yes, we did, the leader said. The chaos slowed them down and actually let us launch a raid against your traveling team. Let's spread it out a bit further this time. 75 million Ryu, Toby requested for his services. Or do you think payment of a perfect stealth unit should come with a discount? It couldn't be considered highballing because these troops were very effective. It was worth it how they disrupted the Kumo war machine in the north. Any direction on how to handle them better this time? The leader asked as he handed over a scroll containing his payment. I can't say that I care, said Toby as he seemed to make the scroll vanish in his hands. I am not the one fighting this war here. Do whatever you like with them. Send them screaming off of a cliff for all I care. After all, he had plenty where those came from. Selling the services of the white Zetsus were nothing but a field test, until he take them for what he really need them for. A field test where he could make money on the side. They will be with you in 2 hours. As Toby then turned. But then again, you know how fast my white Zetsus travel. The leader nodded, knowing full well how reliable they were. Otherwise, the Alliance wouldn't have pulled money to purchase them. He had one more question for Toby, but when he turned, the man was gone. Such a strange and dangerous individual. If he had such force, why wouldn't he use it for the highest bidder? As Konoha and Kumo, they were the stronger villages with more money. But Toby didn't seem to be the type that cared about money, nor did he seem to care about the white Zetsus as a mercenary force. It was like everything was just pointless to him, expendable. But it was better not to look a gift horse in the mouth. They could complete missions that other ninjas are unable of doing, and they were just creatures after all. Meanwhile, back at the camp, Jiraiya had came up with a plan as he was talking to all of the high heads that were here, as they would need to move over very soon. Meanwhile, at the barracks, it was sunrise, so no one was really around here now. They were all out working and preparing. As Naruto made his way as he heard one of the waters on. I thought cats didn't like to get wet, he said. Yujito chuckled. Well, they don't. But considering that the alternative was being covered in blood and grime, this was the better way. She could feel Naruto standing directly behind her, probably looking at a seal on her back, or probably just her ass. She couldn't tell. Eventually though, he moved forward, taking a shower with the pretty Kumo Kunoichi 6 feet away. How was he gonna play this one cool? It was hard not to turn and glance at her from the side, as she was also smirking. See that it was hard for him to come up with a conversation to not deal with sex right now because the both of them are completely naked. Did you forget how to talk, she said. Come on, I know we go at it a few times now, but we've been stopped. But you already see me naked, she said. Well, the last time it happened was last night when I saw you cut down 15 plant guys so brutally. I was just wondering, are you still angry about that? I was, she said, before she moved right in front of him and pushed her back against his chest. But then, you came in here with me. I don't see a better opportunity to pick up where we left off last night. As she quickly moved in for a quick, passionate kiss that both of them shared. As they continued to kiss, he pressed her against the wall. She didn't know what it was, but the danger of them being caught, it was just making her hot even more. As she could feel he was being rather forceful, pressing her up against the wall. Rather forceful, are we? Isn't that something you like, Naruto asked? Well then, let's see how hard you can get, hero, she said. A smirk came on Naruto's face as he spun her around and pressed her against the wall as she let out a heap. But still, she didn't mind. She didn't mind one bit. Time skip. An embarrassed blush spread across Yujito's face, letting her bodyguard have his way with her in the shower. Well, that was fine, but losing to him and looking so vulnerable, it was just awkward. The look on her face was almost enough to make Naruto snicker a bit, but he didn't. Her knees, her legs were so weak, She couldn't even walk after they finished. As Naruto had to scoop her up and bring her back. After a nap, they still had that objective to go on with. Time skip. Upon Jiraiya deducing and figuring what he had, a team was sent out with him leading it. As expected, once they enter past a line, they were immediately surrounded and cornered from every side, as the ninjas were trying to use stealth and confusion to get them. But instead of falling back this time, they stood and they fought. "I'm so tired of this crap," Kiba yelled, as he was fighting close to his teammates, him, Hinata, Akamaru, as they were taking in the close combat once, as Shino was handling a long range with his insects. Walk in fight, walk out fight, same shit every damn day. We better pull it off and move forward this time. We've been here for so damn long. At least Naruto showing up had killed the boredom, but still, he had to went off while they entered back this forest for a mission. Kiba ducked as he dodged a snap with a chain, as Akamaru jumped and grabbed onto the man and started to slash him around before throwing away his body. "Focus, Kiba-kun," said Hinata with her beacon activated. "We need to pay attention to the eventual order when it's called. What if we missed it? Jiraiya was a master spy after all. His cue, the spring in action, was something very small. And what if they missed it? It must be very subtle after all." "I will not be so certain of that, Hinata," said Shino, as bugs flew from his sleeve, taking down enemies. "Why?" Hinata asked. "Because my insects are aware of Jiraiya-sama entering the field." Meanwhile, Jiraiya was walking through everything of the chaos around him. "Oh no," he said, as an enemy came up to him. He simply smashed his foot into the man's face, knocking him away. Another ambush, damn it. Where are they coming from? As he went through several single-handed hand sign, Earth style, Swamp of the Underworld. The ninjas that were fighting quickly jumped off the ground, latching onto the trees, as the ground became a muddy swamp that was dangerous to the enemies, as they were being pulled down into the swamp, as many of them died on the ground from suffocation at that moment, as Kiba could feel and smell the shift in the atmosphere just because of Jiraiya arriving on the scene. "Okay, when I'm that old, I want to be that cool," he declared from the trees that him and his teammate had attached himself to. "Did you all see that? Damn, man." As Hinata saw everything, Jiraiya swamp jutsu disrupted the tunnels that were underground, as she could see the many ninjas that were stuck inside. It was pretty chilling. They were stuck down there, as the oxygen was slowly leaving them. "Damn, Nagato, if I still had both of my arms, this swamp would have been twice the size. I'll just have to do better with the next one," he said, radiating killing intent for all those who were left. "Fall back," one of the ninjas shouted. "Fall back and regroup." The ninjas were pissed. How did they break their line, their trickery so easily? No Konoha ninjas ever seen the tunnels. They didn't see them come or leave from the tunnels. They knew that they had the Byakugan inside. That is why they didn't take the tunnels when Konoha ninjas are around. But still, how the hell did they find out? The tunnels have never been infiltrated, and unless they have a leak in their security, how the hell did they find anything out? Jiraiya then signaled to one of the members that they fire up something into the air. Signaled to the other members they wouldn't let them regroup. It was going to be a rolling wave now for them to take out the enemy. Meanwhile, with Naruto and Yujito got moving the moment Jiraiya started to call for battalion rules, so they could prepare for the Tachi. By the time the fireworks were shot in the sky, both of them were over the river in the enemy territory. "Give me some coordinates to your village. Closest team in Shiminokori," Yujito-chan said Naruto. He had created several clones all around so they would get notified. "You're the one that should know where your people are." They pushed them back, so they should be 100 miles east northeast. "They are back in Kaminokuni," said Yujito, as she followed behind Naruto closely. "Those are the last coordinates that Mabi sent to Konoha to tell me before we came here. So that should mean 3 hours at this pace if we don't stop." That sounded about right to Naruto, as they were dashing from tree branch to tree branch. Ero Sennin and our friends are going to have that army falling over themselves. Meanwhile, at Taki, none of them knew how it happened or when it happened. But one moment, everything was calm and nice. Then the next, the fires were set and massive explosion ripped through the village. Every able-bodied ninjas in Taki jump as they made their way and tried to hunt down the enemies, trying to hunt down the intruders. But most of them were simply jumping at shadows. While that was going on, Konoha root forces were dashing as they were causing many chaos in the village. Using the fires that the Taki ninjas were putting out, they started to take out high-ranking officers and ninjas who passed the rank of genin and took them out. Anyone barking orders were taken out with a kunai or something else. Still though, the battle was far from over for Taki. They had their Titanic trump card hidden in the trees, the base large tree in the center of the village. If it came to that to win the battle, they would have to do it no matter what. With a hard look on his face, a young man led a group of Taki ninjas towards. As they went into the base of a tree, making their way as they passed through a secret entrance. Going inside, they came in a large pond with a single water bottle inside. Other water was all around it, but this water in the middle looked special. This is it, the young man said, that sweat on his brow as he picked it up. The hero water. One of the men moved forward. You're not planning on using it in a situation like this, are you, Shibuki-sama? I will if I have to, said Shibuki. These water gave short-term benefits, but they came with large risks. Just in case I or some others need to take it to fight off the enemies, we need it. Don't you remember what happened to Fu? No one fought. We just appeased Kakazo when he came here and let him take her. This isn't that situation like that. There isn't any compromise here. Before any of them could say anything, all of them are wrapped up by vines that broke from the ceiling, hanging by their necks. Some of them are wrapped around by their arms. Shibuki moved to cut his leg free, but nothing. He passed through nothing. He quickly realized Genjutsu. Release! The illusion faded off the roots all around him, but the hero water was gone out of his hand. Instead, it was in the hand of a pale-skinned, black-haired young man, with a black-haired young woman beside him in the same attire. As Fubuki saw that her hands were in a hand sign, she was one with the Genjutsu that snared his man. She must have cast the illusion over them to follow them here as well. Both of them were in plain masks with nothing on it. Who are you? What village are you with? That is not important, I said as he tucked away the hero water. Just know that you conspire and made yourself enemies of a village that we are rather fond of. Unfortunate for you. This was not good for Taki. The enemy had their secret weapon, and Shibuki didn't even know who the enemy was. And outside, the village was in a great state of panic. Just how many enemies there were, no one knew. Maybe your successor will have the intelligence to take your village to negotiations while he still have a chance. Sai said, as some of the people who were in Maki Genjutsu went limp, as the Genjutsu override their system, making them think that they were being rather helpless and couldn't do anything but get strangled. You won't be allowed to find out though. Water style, water fang bullet! Several water spears came from the water around them, striking to where Sai and Maki was. The both of them moved away. Water was a weakness for some of Sai ink techniques, unless he creates specific creatures. As Shibuki looked around, all of his men that he came here with were dead. He glanced over to Maki as she speed through hand sign. Gravity killer, she said, as she linked her illusion to his chakra supply. Shibuki felt twice as heavy. Sai nodded as several leeches came from the water that was made from ink as they attached himself to Shibuki. With the weight of his arms and the leeches that held him down, Shibuki could not move. Wait, my village. We don't care about destroying your village, said Maki. As treacherous as the Akatsuki has been, you still sided with your leader, the same group that came and stole your Jinjulki from you. At this point, you might as wear black with red clothes on them. It was to bring down the 5 great villages to secure our own livelihood, Shibuki shouted back. We've been stuck between 2 of them for years now. Taki was at the closest relationship, a buffer for Konoha against the Hidden Stone. Sai simply shook his head. Remember, Konoha is the only reason why Taki ended up with the Nimbi in the first place. As a show of goodwill, after the failed attack by Kakazo on our first Hokage, that we knew that was orchestrated by you. Otherwise, Konoha would have 2 Jinjulkis instead of 1. I believe it's time that we get back our goodwill for what we did for you back then. As Sai held up the buckle, Shibuki's eyes widened as he thrust around hard, but with the leeches on him and everything, he could do nothing. You're from Konoha? Sai senpai, Maki started to say, until Sai silenced her. At best, this will be a bargaining chip that we can get your village to surrender. Or at worst, we can use it to make productive powers for our own ninjas. I said too much, I said. And with that, him and Maki sink down into the water, vanishing. As Shibuki then saw the leashes, explosive tags were all around them. His eyes went wide, but it was too late. Boom! The entire place was rocked with the explosion. Meanwhile, Naruto and Yujito finally arrived to a horrible scene as the camp was raided. Kumo ninjas lay dead everywhere. Yujito and Naruto went over as the ninjas didn't really put up a fight because they were stabbed in the back. It was hard to look at the Kumo ninjas this way, but still she knew that something like this might happen because it was a war after all. As she looked at the small camp all around them, dead bodies everywhere, Yujito said a voice. As Yujito turned, breathing a sigh of relief when she saw a Kunoichi limping over to her. Oh, so they are survivors. What happened? I don't know, the female kunoichi said. 1 minute, everything was calm, and the next, bam. I never seen anything like it. Yujito frowned despite the vague explanation. Maybe if she was here quicker, she could have prevented it from happening. The bodies that she already counted was past 100, and she hasn't even been through all the camp yet. As Naruto was still checking out bodies for what happened to them in the mystery attack. But if there was one survivor, there could have been more. Well, I'm just glad that Mabe was able to get a message through Kumo back to Konoha so I can come back home. Now at least I can fight as well. The Kumo Kunoichi looked stunned at what she just heard. She got a message through to Konoha? Well, that's impressive to get correspondence through this hell of a mess. Yujito raised an eyebrow to that strange response. Everyone knew about Mabe's impressive jutsu, the same message at the speed of light. This girl in front of her was not a genin, she was a chonin. Only genins would know about that. She had seen this girl around before though, so she knew of her. Still though, something didn't feel right. Yujito turned to get Naruto's attention. Naruto-kun, I think we should keep on. As Naruto wasn't there. She then felt her danger senses go off as she spun around to see the woman coming at her with a blade. Before Naruto came down and sliced her arms off. As stunned, Yujito jumped away as blood oozed from the stump of her arm. What? She was attacked like that by her own village member? The kunoichi then fell down to the ground until she turned to one of those weird, plant-like creatures that she and Naruto had fought the other night. That was not a normal transformation. When you got close to someone, you could feel the physical bending of their transformation. This was something entirely different. Naruto grabbed the man by the throat and lifted him up. I know, or I remember your strange description from now. It took months, but Konoha pulled a memory of your description out of Hidon's head. And 2 of my friends saw you with someone else in the Akatsuki sometime back. You had a black half though. Am I right, Zetsu? You're in Akatsuki. As Naruto turned to Yujito, these things are from Akatsuki. They even plan on capturing us. But not for pain. Who is Tobi? Asked Yujito. As she remembered the night when they were talking, said that they need to capture them for Tobi, and Tobi would be pissed if they got them killed. I remember them using that name that Tobi told them not to kill us. I don't think the god of the inner rain would make himself be called something like that. I'm not Zetsu, I'm just a clone. A body double, and where there's one of me, he tried to say, but Naruto snapped his neck and threw his body to the side as many more white Zetsus started to come out from the ground like they were dead spirits. Both Yujito and Naruto stood back to back as they were surrounded. I think he was going to say something about where there's one of him. There's much more, said Naruto, and there are a bunch more, hundreds of them. Stop! As everyone stopped, the Zetsus, turning, as Naruto watched as he saw the vortex, someone spoke out of it. Tobi stepped out of it with the original black and white Zetsu coming from the ground. As he stopped a distance away. Hello Yujito. Hello Naruto Uzumaki. I believe that you have something, the both of you. That should be my property, he said. Surrounded by 100 Zetsu people, that was fine. Facing all of them, that was fine. But bringing the man that called himself Madara Uchiha, that was a problem. As Naruto felt something was off, this man, he felt like nothing at all. Not nothing like he was weak, he just felt like he didn't understand what that name meant. Your property, Naruto said, already in sage mode. Are you talking about the Kyuubi? Among other things, said Tobi. Within the eye hole of the mask, Naruto could see the twin Sharingans inside. I'll be collecting everything in the end though, don't you worry. What the hell are you going to do even if you catch us? I don't think you're at pain, unless both of you are the boss. But I don't think a god would work with anyone like that. Pain is just a child who had forgot his ideas. And who gave him those eyes to begin with? He's too much of a loose cannon for me to control any longer. Thus, I cut him loose. He will of course fail in his endeavor to change the world, but he will not quit. And perhaps he will do enough damage to make my plans go smoother. What was his endgame though, Yujito wondered. This person couldn't be Madara Uchiha. And if he was not with Pain, then what would he wanted? As Pain has made his intention clear for the Bijus. Just what exactly do you want, she asks. Peace, of course, same for any great man. A world where everything should be as it should. Where all of the tail beasts are one once again. The way that it was before the Sage of Six Paths. Break them apart. No. Said the Kyuubi in Naruto's head, this man is not Madara. His chakra is dark, his Sharingan is strong. But there is still no comparison. It will never forget the real man, and this man was not him. As Tobi continued, and much like Sage of Six Paths, I will become the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. And with my immense strengthening of my Sharingan, I will project my Sharingan onto the moon and cover the world in an infinite Tsukuyomi. So that every living being on the planet will be under my control. No war, no crime, a world of infinite truth. Man, said Naruto as he slapped his forehead, that's your idea of peace. Where did you get that one from, a comic book or something? You just want to rule the world. It's okay if that is what you want to do, but I just don't want you to act like it's anything else. Try to prep it up with some bullshit to make it look any better. You can admit it, said Naruto. Domination was domination. Pain wanted to be a god. This mother of person wanted everyone under his genjutsu. Toby narrowed his eyes under his mask. Excuse me? You want the world, and that's okay. But I just hate that everyone thinks they have to justify themselves by saying other things. They just don't make themselves look like a villain. Who cares? You could have just said, I want to keep the world in a Sharingan to run it, like a big puppet show. Say what you want about Orochimaru, but at least he didn't make any excuse about himself. He did what he wanted to do because he wanted to do it. And that was all the justification that he wanted, and all that he needed to show others. There's no such thing as a hero or a villain, so why waste your damn time trying to act like one? Toby surprisingly nodded in agreement. You're right, but you're also wrong. I don't care what you or anyone think of me. Nagato is like a petulant child, getting caught up in his own whims, with his status as a god. Don't compare us because I don't want to be god. I don't want to be anyone or anything. All I care about is completing the Eye of the Moon plan. You see, as Toby started to walk around the white Zetsus, my plan has been messed up so many times by you and your father now that I put contingency plan after plan just to make sure I never fail. You were the straw. You broke the camel's back and made Nagato go off his reservation. You killed Sasuke and sent Itachi into a spiral. You stopped us from capturing the Nibi, and you killed a majority of the Akatsuki, even at the cost of your eye. Yujito looked at Naruto as she wondered what the hell was Toby talking about. Naruto has both eyes. As he saw the look on Yujito's face, one of them isn't his. One of them belonged to Shisui Uchiha. As Toby take happiness in revealing that. Disguise it as best as you want to. Like I said, you have more of my property than just a Kyuubi. I want that Sharingan eye. A rage started building Naruto by this guy exposing that. You want the Sharingan power, right? Naruto went through hand sign as quick as possible and moved his hand up to the ceiling tattoo on his arm. Fire method release. He grabbed Yujito with his flaming arm as the other one was on black flames as he started to spin. Sage Art, Dark, Whirlwind. The storm became a world storm heated with the amateur arts of flames. Toby and Zetsu was able to get away as the white Zetsus were incinerated as they started running around in panic as they were being burned, hitting the other one as they started getting enveloped in black flames as well. Who knew that they were so flammable? Naruto sat alone as he let go of Yujito, who was rather dizzy in her spinning state a minute ago. But she regained her bearings quite quickly before glaring at Naruto one bit. You think taking down a battalion mean anything to me, said Toby, as he appeared out of the swirling vortex once again. I have more than enough to accomplish any goal I see fit right now. Bring as many as you want, said Naruto, as he dropped the seal that disguised his Sharingan from view. Yujito let out a gasp at the sight of it, as it was slightly mutated due to Sage Mode. You aren't taking another Shinjuki, you aren't sealing away another damn Biju. I don't care if you and Pain are having a damn love or spat. You're both dead man, said Naruto. As Naruto leaped towards Toby and created a Rasengan and drive it, but he passed right through the man. Naruto had to dodge a war fan, as Toby had sent the real Zetsu away. He couldn't afford to lose Zetsu right now, his spy around the world. That sword. Toby felt it, the hilt of that blade had knocked against his body, and he passed through him. Did Naruto notice? Toby wondered. Damn, he noticed. The Uzumaki clan that has such marital tie to the first Hokage, being Mito Uzumaki, it always come back to Konoha. Konoha. The first one that messed with his plans was Minato. It always come back to Konoha. Everything was this damn boy, and now him, ruining everything, killing Sasuke, killing off all the Akatsuki members. Toby had been patient, he had waited, he had schemed, created backup plans. He had done everything, but this boy just kept on getting his damn way every damn time. Enough is enough, Uzumaki, I will tell you now. There's nothing you can do to stop me. You may kill Pain the way you are, but I am a different breed. Mark my words, boy. I have survived your parents, your predecessors, your masters, and I will survive you as well. I'm not afraid to die, even if you did have the balls to fight me yourself. If you think staying a rat and hiding in the dark for decades is going to work this time, then you obviously don't know what made Root what we are. No, Toby wouldn't hide any longer. He was close to achieving everything that he wants. I am smarter than you, he said, as he clenched his fist tightly. I will break you. I will break that spirit around you. I will take every single thing from you, rip it away and make you watch as I drain every last bit you. And when you're left broken, I will strip the 9 tails away from your body. Naruto absorbed all the black flames back in his seal on his arm. If you're so confident, why run away? Fight me now. Toby started to laugh as he burst out laughing louder. No. I think you didn't hear me, Naruto. You don't dictate any of this. You do not get to decide if this ends or not. This is all up to me, so go. Go and have your little war. Take what you believe would be your steps to becoming the Hokage of Danzo's dream. I just so hope when everything is over and you tally up all the scores, that is if you are even alive to do it, you can say with a straight face that you've gained more than you lost. Fire release, laser beam. A beam pierced right through Toby's chest as he started screaming pain. As Naruto looked towards Yujito, I was sick of hearing him talk. Toby then removed his hand as he started to laugh. Nothing was there. He was unharmed. Not a mark on me, he said. You will have to work a bit harder than that if you want to scratch me, you cat. As with that, he started disappearing in a swirling vortex, laughing the entire time. Yujito returned back to normal. Are you okay, Yuji-chan? Naruto asked. Yeah, I'm fine. How did their jutsu pass right through him? It was like he was a ghost, but yet still he was right there. She hit him with her fastest attack and it did nothing. Who was that guy? The coward. He was ready to run his mouth when he had them surrounded, but the moment Naruto incinerated the white Zetsus, he decided to flee. He was nobody, said Naruto. Come on, we need to keep going to get you home. Who knows how many of those things are raising hell in the Kumo camps. Naruto promised himself before he killed that bastard, he was going to rip that mask off his face, even if he had to cut his damn head off. Still, as he looked back at his sword that hit Toby when his hands and chakra did not. Did I imagine that, or was it a real deal? Laughter could be heard. What is it? Senju, you magnificent bastard. I understand what that sword was meant to do. What? Said Naruto. I'll tell you later, boy. Look alive. The Nanabe host is waiting on you. As Naruto looked at her to see her tapping her foot, she was also curious to know about his Sharingan. Putting on back the lens wouldn't let that go away. What is he going to say about this one? Time skip, Snelly's smile, as she was currently reading a letter from Take. Negotiations. One of them already down. They have already separated the line with the enemies. Take didn't have the secret water anymore, and they didn't have the forces to fight off Konoha. Now, they want to open negotiations. They want to give up. Seeing that a small, unidentified squad came in their village and completely obliterated it, what could the entire force do? They had to give up. They had nothing left. Damn it, she hated to say it because of things that Danzo did, but Root was incredible. As she still had her original envoys running duties outside the village, but Root, they had got in and they had done so quickly and completed the mission rather quickly and fast. Perhaps she could understand why Harrison had kept Danzo around now when it was clear that Root was still there. Meanwhile, Kumo, a Dex broke through the window and was sent sailing. The Raikage was beyond furious when he found out that they returned and the armies were being picked apart. He was happy, but to hear that one of his entire forces in their camp was taken down by these creatures, two that happened in a week now, he was furious. White Zetsus? As he sat in his chair that no longer had Dex in front of it, clones that can perform perfect transformation right down to the chakra, an artificial army. Damn it, Mother Uchiha. He isn't a part of the war, so what is his game? It was time to send word out to his forces to try to find out who was a truly Kumo ninja. A squad of the White Zetsus must have gotten the chakra off his squads while they were out and slipped back in their places. As Mabe, Naruto and Yujito were in there, the Raikage was mumbling to himself. Sorry you had to see that, said Mabe to Naruto. It doesn't happen often. That was code for it to happen all the time. Don't think too badly of him. Someone had to save face to the Raikage. Why not his assistant? Naruto simply waved it off as Snaddy had smashed and destroyed a lot of Dexes. As Yujito focused on the Raikage, the Nibe, and Naruto and Kyuubi say that this man is not the real Madara Uchiha. And if it was the real him, I doubt he would have run away from us out there. Madara Uchiha was infamous for enjoying battle and showing off his skills, so why would he run? He would have attacked them. For someone who claimed that they didn't want to be anyone, why not take the name of someone who was a legend in history? I will commit a force to hunt this man, said Raikage, as he tried to punch his Dex, but he was no longer there. As Mabe's sweat dropped, the man ran over as he punched, a punching bag completely destroying it. Now we move through Shimonokuni and stomp out the fight in there. As they talk for a bit more, the Raikage insisting that Naruto stay here. As Yujito was a liaison for Konoha, he could do the same. Tsunade did say that he should have some downtime, but no. His friends who are all out there fighting now, he need to be a part of this. As the Raikage insisted, even though that Naruto could earwalk, that he sent him back with a group, just to make sure that he's okay. As Naruto simply accepted. But guys, if you end episode right here, if you want the next part of this or know what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn on the bell notifications they posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in social media platform, and stay in tune for the rest of the work that's coming your way, and I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. But I'm out for now, see you guys soon, peace.